Well, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Speaking of Zane, April the 13th, 2025. This is our 315th edition of Speaking of Zane, live from Ackworth, Georgia, little hamlet, maybe 40 miles north of downtown Atlanta, about an hour to the airport. Well, on a good day. But good to have everybody in here. Let's do a little roll call. Got Toby in here. Got Randy Bergmeyer in here. Randy and Kathy. We'll be seeing you guys at the end of next week. Daryl's in there. Ken's in there. Brenda Lusk is in there. Jimbo Miller's in there. My dad's in there. Mac Marine. Steve Shirley's in there. And Lloyd's in there. Good to have everybody here. Probably, if you're golf fans or sports fans, you've probably been watching the Masters for the last few days. It was a great finish. Boy, McIlroy, he almost gave it away there. Had to go to a playoff round on 18, but he pulled it out. Rory McIlroy from Northern Ireland. It was a good tournament. The weather was good. Enjoyed watching a little bit yesterday and then a good bit today. March Madness concluded early last week after last Sunday's Speaking of Zane. And congrats to University of Houston for winning there. So now we're through. We got the Super Bowl out of the way. We got March Madness out of the way. We got the Masters out of the way. And now we're getting baseball going pretty good. The Braves are 4-11, still in last place in the National League East, but it is a long season. That's the beauty of having 162 games. So good stuff there. Oh yeah, Toby, what am I saying? Florida won. I was thinking of the game before that. Anyway, my Final Four was busted. Houston busted it for me, of course. But yeah, Florida. I should know that because a couple of the students in my program at work are Gators, so they let everybody know about it on Tuesday. So good on the Gators. One thing I do like about the Gators is they revere Tom Petty, which is really cool. All right, well, let's see. What else can I get wrong here? I am right when I say the Braves are only 4-11. And Rory McIlroy did win the Masters. But let's see. Lori and I were both out of town a good bit of this past week. Our little grandson, Everett, who lives about an hour drive away, he was on spring break, so Lori went over there to give Hannah a hand with him, and then she ended up having our little tornado granddaughter, Carson, for a few days. She left this morning. Actually, she didn't leave. I took her home. And I said, here you go. She's a little bit extra, but she's gorgeous, and always have a good time when she's here. And I was in Vegas most of the week for a conference, and always have a good time there. I mean, I've probably been there 20 times in the last 30 years. So really nothing new. I did stay at a place I had not stayed before, well north on the Strip. We stayed at the where did we stay? At the Conrad, which is part of Resort World. Resort World is what it's called, and it was pretty nice. First time I'd stayed there, so that was different. But I did get a good 5-mile walk down the Strip and back. I guess it was Wednesday. But it was a good trip. It's always a good trip. But the highlight of the trip this time was having dinner on Thursday with Roy Cupper, our old buddy Roy, when he retired from the Air Force, stayed there in Las Vegas area, and they've been there since the mid '90s, I think. But anyway, I've seen him a couple of times um, while I'm in town, and it worked out well this time. He was taking a class for work at UNLV, which turns out is not really that far from the Strip. So on Thursday, when he finished with his class about 4 o'clock, he came over to the Conrad, and we had dinner. And then he drove me to the airport, which was nice. I didn't have to call an Uber, so worked out good. Always good to see him. Well, let's see. I'm heading out of town again tomorrow. I did get a lot of stuff done around the house yesterday and today, though, and I even got some good walks in. But I'm heading tomorrow afternoon. I'm flying into Dallas Love and driving about an hour to a college that I had never heard of. But turns out they've got like 34,000 students, and they're part of the Texas A&M school system. But it's a college called Tarleton State University. Tarleton State University. We're going to be doing a couple of workshops on Tuesday there in our partnership with Microsoft, and coming back Tuesday evening because I got a busy 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I need to be back here at the house because Lori and I are taking off next week, and we're going to drive up to Frankfort, Kentucky area, and kind of do a little Bourbon Trail stuff. We'll see how Buffalo Trace Distillery is doing by then. The floodwaters receded. I don't know if they'll be open full blast by then, but that's why they call it the Bourbon Trail. There's other distilleries around there, but yeah, so we're going to head there on Monday, a week from tomorrow, and kind of do a little history thing there, and then we're going to wind up in Dayton, Ohio. We're going to wind up in Dayton, Ohio for the 10th Acts reunion. And I think the last one we had, was it Randy? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I don't remember, but we're having another one, and it's going to be right there near the Air Force Museum. So that'll be fun. So Lori and I I think we arrive there Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening maybe, and we'll be there Friday, Saturday, and then drive all the way back home Sunday. But that's okay. We haven't had a road trip in a while, so looking forward to getting out on the open road and making a week of it, and then back home, and then I'm home for a few weeks. I need it because 3 weeks in June I'll be out of town, including another trip to Vegas last week of June. All right. Good thing we don't have any kids in school, kids that play sports, or any pets, because it means Lori and I both can come and go and not have to inconvenience anyone. Let's see. I don't see maybe. See, I don't see the Aarons in there tonight, but maybe Brenda Lusk will know. If you remember, Matt Aaron, one of Zane's battle buddies, is still serving in the Michigan National Guard, and was called up to help with some ice storms they had in northern Michigan. So I haven't seen if he's concluded his mission there and is back home, but I'm sure that we will get some notification there. Hat of the week always has something to do with what's going on around here. And since I'm going to be in Texas at Tarleton State University, look it up, Tarleton, Tarleton State University. It's part of the Texas A&M University system. Georgia has the same thing here. But anyway, so because I'm going to a Texas A&M affiliated university, the Texas A&M dad hat is the hat of the week. Speaking of Texas A&M, our daughter Charlotte works for a major airline and travels all over the world. She happens to be in Guatemala this weekend. Guatemala. She sent some pictures. They're fantastic. Brenda says that Matt is still up in northern Michigan. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be continue to pray for him and Katie and the kids, and wish him well, and look forward to him getting back home safely. Him and his crew. All right. Well, let's see. I've got some this week in military history items. You ready? April the 13th in 1861, Fort Sumter surrendered to the Confederates. Remember, that was the start, wasn't it? Wasn't that the beginning of it all? And then fast forward 4 years, on April the 13th, Sherman began his march through Georgia. And you can follow that from near Knoxville all the way down through Georgia and then over to Savannah, where it ended. And he burned a lot of Atlanta, burned a lot of everything on his way down there, but spared Savannah. I don't know the whole story behind that. I don't remember the reasoning behind that, but he did spare Savannah, which was Georgia's first city, by the way. Savannah, Georgia has a Revolutionary War history, believe it or not. Fast forward one day from the day that Sherman began his march through Georgia. On April the 14th of 1865, President Lincoln was assassinated. April 14th, keep that date in mind, 1865. Fast forward, April 14th, 1912. April 14th, 1912, guess what happened? The Titanic struck the iceberg on the 14th, sunk on the 15th. Fast forward, April 14th, 1984. Guess what collision happened on that day? I'll pause to see if anybody knows in the chat there. Think about it. April the 14th, 1984. 1984, April 14th. 5 seconds. Lori can't answer. Yes, she was there. Lori and Guy married. That was the other collision that occurred. The bullet in President Lincoln's head, the Titanic, and then Guy and Lori collided, and the rest is history. So tomorrow, I keep saying, for some reason, I keep telling people 42 years, but it's actually just 41 years. 41 years, which is a long time. For sure. 41 years. People ask me, how does a couple stay married that long? And I always say that we just never quit on the same day. Get it? Because we quit, both of us, just never on the same day. Okay. Well, let's see. What do we got here? Should be a short Speaking of Zane this evening. Veteran Cemetery Challenge. I know that Daryl made a visit to Jefferson Barracks there. Daryl, was it this week or last week? Was your son Daryl's birthday? Because Daryl lost his son. Can't remember how many years ago it's been, but Daryl's son's ashes were scattered just outside on a bluff going down toward the river. But Daryl makes regular pilgrimages to Jefferson Barracks, and then of course my dad and my sister do such a great job of visiting Evergreen Cemetery in Fitzgerald, Georgia, where my mom rests and my grandparents rest and my uncles rest. And I'll tell you that thanks to my dad and my sister, my mom has the best looking gravesite on the whole property for sure. For sure. So if I add up those visits, I'm going to say we're at 5 visits over the last week, which takes us up to 1,464. So that means 1,464 times someone in this relatively small group that honors Zane has honored a veteran that rests in one of those cemeteries. So absolutely hallowed ground for sure. And then moving on to the Thank a Vet Challenge. You guys are killing it this year with the veteran encounters. Doesn't have to be a thank you or I appreciate you. It could be, hey, what did you do in the military? Or something like that, some interaction. And I had a couple. Mentioned Roy, who I got the pleasure to spend some time with. I thanked a guy called Valentino, who just got out of the Army and is in the National Guard at work. And then I thanked a vet at the airport in Las Vegas on the way home Thursday. I took the red eye home because I had a full day of work. I couldn't afford to stay the night Thursday night just to get up on Friday and spend half the day getting home. It was a 4-hour flight back. So I decided I would fly Thursday night, sleep on the way home, and when I got home, I would just work the regular Friday, which I did. I came home, took a shower, and got to work and got a lot done. I'm glad I did that because I got caught up on everything, and that's the way to do it. And let's see, anybody else have any thank yous? Put them in the chat there. Those are the only ones that I have noted this week. You guys do a good job of posting on the Facebook page. So Carson's, I was asleep. Yeah, Carson, she was here when I got home, and I walked upstairs, and she was just, it was like 6:15 in the morning when I got home. So we landed before 5 o'clock in the morning. I got home by 6:15, and I walked upstairs, and Carson, who has her own bedroom up here, was walking down the hallway. Oh, hi, Granddaddy. And so I guess it wasn't time for her to go downstairs yet. So she was playing, and she said, "Can I play in your bedroom until Granny calls me down?" I said, "Yeah." So I sat down, and I might have dozed off for 30 minutes or so, and then got in the shower and got my coffee. But enough about that. All right, so we are at 3,423 thank yous. 3,423 thank yous. So I have no doubt, if we're just in April, no doubt that we'll be pushing the 4,000 mark by the end of the year. That should be our goal, 4,000. That means we need about 577 more or something like that. My math's not the best, but appreciate you guys doing that along with us. I know. Oh, Daryl's got some in there. We're gonna up it already. So Chuck, Army, Korean. Okay, so Daryl is gonna have 3. So if we add that to our total, that'll make 6 for the week, and that'll put us at 3,426. So thank you for that, Daryl. Okay, well, let's see. This time next week, we'll be getting ready to leave for the reunion. And then the following week, we may end up skipping. I guess it would be the 27th, because we will have just driven from Ohio all the way back to Atlanta. So stay tuned, but I might be ready just to unpack and hit the sack. Well, let's see. What do we got coming up with organizations? I'm still holding out hope that Lori and I can run down to Tampa in May, and I've got some colleagues that work down there, and we're trying to settle on a date that works for the majority to go out to my Warriors place. So I'm hoping we can get that in the month of May. So we'll look forward. It's been a little while since we were down there, and I look forward to sharing with you guys how things are coming along down there. Since we've been down there, they've had a couple of hurricanes, and yeah, and then and Lori, we're gonna have to stay close. Lori's gonna have to stay close anyway, because we got another little grandbaby coming in May. Hannah's daughter. Her name is what's her name, Lori? Nyla. So she'll be making her appearance sometime in the month of May, which would be very good. All right, and then of course, before you know it, we'll be ready for Running to Honor. You want to do that with us, go to just Google Running to Honor. You can join the Speaking of Zane team. But that's going to be the last Saturday, and I'm looking at my calendar over here, last Saturday in July. But Lori and I will be doing it early because we'll be in London. And some of my colleagues over there are going to do it with me again this year. I think I've mentioned that before, but we will be looking forward to that. And then I've got some Memorial Day activities that I'll be reporting on at the end of May. Of course, I would encourage you, if you live near a national cemetery, to go help place flags. And I think that'll be, for us, I think that'll be on the Saturday, the 24th, maybe. But I'll be in St. Louis helping place flags at our corporate headquarters, probably on the 22nd, something like that. Do that again, and we set up a missing man table. We get me and my veteran colleagues at work. We get the great opportunity to share with people at work what those things mean. There's a lot of people that they don't even know what Memorial Day is. They don't know the significance of placing all the American flags. They don't know what a missing man table is. So we get the opportunity to educate people on those things. So that'll be fun. There's Matt Mary in there, so add another to the list tonight. All right. I think that's all I've got tonight, folks. Just keep in mind the reason that we do this thing in the first place is because of losing Zane, and we just couldn't bear the thought that he would be forgotten after he's gone. So we know that we would never forget him, but Speaking of Zane means that there's more of us that won't forget him. And then, of course, along the way, we talk about others like him, others that have found themselves in similar situation as him. And this is just a simple way to raise awareness of that. And geez, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't lose anyone on the battlefield, and we didn't lose anyone after the battlefield? But the reality is that we do, and we have, and it sucks. But talking about him and talking about his life and talking about his kids, his two beautiful kids, Colton and Paisley, and his brother Tyler has two beautiful kids, Zaylee and Colby. And we want, as they all grow, we want to make sure they know about their dads. And I think speaking of Zane is just one way. And maybe when their kids get a little bit older and understand everything, they can watch some of these and hear us talk about their dad. But that's the name of that tune. And then maybe next week, maybe Lori can give an update on Paisley. Paisley is Zane's daughter, and Paisley has had a esophagus problem since she was born, and she just recently had some more surgery and stuff. So next week I'll have Lori. Maybe Lori can jump on here and give an update or whatever about that. But all right, folks. Well, good to have everybody in here. Have a great week. Make it count. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody back here again next Sunday night for another edition of Speaking of Zane. Remember to let me know veterans that you say thank you to. Let me know if you visit any veteran cemeteries, and let me know if there's any organizations or upcoming activities or events you want to talk about. Throw them in the chat or let me know, and happy to share them. And the countdown is on, Steve-O, to seeing you and some of the others there at the 10th Acts reunion, and a good time will be had by all, I'm sure. All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you all next week. God bless.